but this is going to be the ELAP feed transportation tool. This is version 1.0. The reason we have those versions at the top numbered is because if there's a slight change that needs to be made or an error that needs to be corrected, it's possible that a new version could be posted. This tool can also be found at farmers.gov. So if you're a producer that's familiar with farmers.gov, there is a drought recovery or drought assistance tab on farmers.gov that you can go through to find this tool as well. But the easiest way is probably through the press release that I believe IAC has available. So what you'll see at the top is just anything in tan or light gold, I guess you'll call it, kind of a cream color, is going to be the blanks or the items that the producer needs to fill in themselves. Anything in the darker kind of salmon or pink color, orangish color, that will be pre-filled based on the information that the producer provides. So at the top, you'll see we have a spot for a name. The next item that the producer needs to complete is the question here of socially disadvantaged, limited resource, beginning or veteran farmer and rancher. That is a drop down. You can either select none, and then on the right hand side here, you'll see under that box that none was selected, and you'll see that the program factor is also 60%. If we change that to socially disadvantaged, you will see now on the right hand side, it says, I'm a member of a group listed below whose members have been subject to racial, ethnic, or gender prejudice because of their identity as members of a group without regard to their individual qualities. And then you'll also see that the program factor is now adjusted to 90%. At the bottom here, I'll try and keep it all on one screen. This is the information where the producer is able to load what their current year and what their prior year history is on hauling this feed. The first set of blocks is how much feed did you transport this year? And I'll just put in some examples so everybody can see how the tool works specifically. So the first question is number of truckloads this year that were hauled. I'm going to use 3. The mileage per truckload this year. So this is how many miles per truckload you hauled. And in this case, I'm going to say it was 200 miles for each truckload. Next is going to be the share of the feed cost this year. In my case, we have 100%. And you'll see that the white block pre-filled there with the producer's current miles of 600 miles. What that did was take the 3 loads, multiply that by 200 miles per load, which comes up with 600 miles. You'll see as I'm entering this information, the salmon color blocks up above are pre-filling as we speak. The next section that the producers need to fill out is how much do they normally haul. Again, I'm going to say that normally I haul 3 loads in, but typically I only haul those loads 80 miles. I still have 100% share. So normally I only haul 240 miles to haul my 3 loads of feed in. But this year, because there was no feed around the area, I had to go out further to purchase this feed, which resulted in me having to haul at 600 total miles. At the top here, you will now see that the total producers of mileage above normal is 360. That's a simple calculation that comes from the 600 miles that I hauled this year, subtracting off the 240 miles that I typically haul feed in. There is, in this case, there's 0 local mileage reduction, and I'll get into explaining that a little bit more here in detail with another example. So the eligible mileage above normal is 360 miles. Our national mileage rate is $6.60. Because we are a socially disadvantaged producer in this example, we have a payment factor of 90%, which then calculates to an estimated payment of $2,138. So very simple calculation. We're just comparing how many miles you hauled feed this year to how many miles you typically haul feed on a normal year. I'm just going to quickly change this to none if we had a producer does not meet one of those 4 categories, and let you see how it changes that program factor and estimated payment. So if we take that socially disadvantaged box and put it to none, you'll see now that we have a program factor of 60%, and you will see that it also dropped our payment down to $1,426. So it does make a very big difference for producers. Typically, if they have participated in FSA programs before, they are going to know or have this designation on file within our FSA offices already. But if not, make sure that they are aware or to ask about it, inquire about being whether they meet one of the categories of socially disadvantaged, limited resource, beginning farmer, or veteran farmer and rancher. So like I mentioned, it's a very simple tool. It's a very easy tool, and we're advising or suggesting that all producers who want to participate in the ELAP feed transportation program complete this tool and then print it out or save it and email it to our FSA offices once the ELAP provisions are opened up and sign up is available for this specific ELAP program. There is an option here on the right hand side to print it. If they're doing it for multiple, or if you guys are helping producers and you want to do it for multiple producers, you can hit clear up here, and that will clear the entire workbook. The next example I'm going to show you is going to provide a little bit more information on what this producer's local mileage reduction means. One thing that I didn't mention that is talked about in the press release is the program has a maximum mileage of 1,000 miles and also a minimum mileage of 25 miles. So that's where this producer's local mileage reduction comes into place. And I'll show you using the tool below or the numbers below how that local mileage reduction is calculated. Basically, it's going to be dependent on the number of loads that you had this year versus the number of loads that you had in prior years. So if I change this to 1, and I change this, or excuse me, sorry, I did that backwards. If I leave this at 3, but normally I change this to 1, you will see that we get a message in the comments here that says 2 loads will have a 25-mile reduction applied. And what that means, the 25-mile reduction that you can see here, for 2 loads, a 25-mile reduction is going to result in total of a 50-mile reduction. What that is doing is it's saying that this year you hauled 3 loads. Normally you haul 1 load. So the 2 loads that aren't normally hauled, they have to take off 25 miles because that's the minimum requirement to haul it. So that's why the 25 miles is taken off the top of those 2 loads that aren't normally hauled. And in this situation, you'll see here that there was, again, we have our 600 miles minus our 80, which is 520, but then we also take off the 50 miles from 520, which results in an eligible mileage above normal of 470. We multiply that by the national mileage rate of 660 times our program factor, which gives us our estimated total payment. The comments on here are very nice. They will tell you in red what is being deducted, if anything. If I would change this to 2 for normal, now you'll see that it adjusts to only 1 load will have a 25-mile reduction, and above we only have 1 local mileage reduction of 25 miles. So it can be a little bit confusing, but basically what it's doing is it's comparing the number of loads transported this year versus your current year. And if they're different, if you have more in the current year than you do on your normal years, you're gonna, for each load that is additional in the current year, you're gonna suffer a 25-mile reduction, just because they're saying basically any feed transported less than 25 miles or less, there's really no need for assistance on that. And then it's capped, like I said, at 1,000 miles. So I will show you an example here of the 1,000 miles. Let's say I hauled 3 loads, but each load I hauled was 1,500 miles away. So I had to go a long ways away across state lines to find this feed and haul it back. I put in 1,500 miles, but you will see that the producer's current mileage is only maxed at 3,000. Also under the comments, it says loads greater than 1,000 miles is limited to 1,000 miles. So obviously, if we took 3 times our 1,500, we know that that would be more than 3,000. But the software, the Excel worksheet is capping that at 3,000 because we can only haul 1,000 maximum miles per load. Again, if you have anything over here that you need to adjust, you can certainly do that. But the total producer's mileage above normal is going to be, in this case, 2,840. The 3,000 capped miles minus the 160, which gives us 2,840. We had no mileage reduction because we had the similar, it wasn't in this situation. They were over the 3,000, over the 25 mile situation, then which comes up to our payment of 11,246 in this situation. So if there's any questions, I can certainly take those now. Like I said, this is a tool that we are highly recommending producers utilize. They can start entering their information right now. We do ask that they don't send this information to our FSA county offices yet. Please wait until the ELAP feed provision application period has opened, which we're hoping is around the first week of November.